Hello everybody, today I'll be showing you how to graph sine and cosine, so let's jump right in. Alright, so let's try and graph y equals cosine of x. So let's use the unit circle, and cosine of x equals the x-axis. So cosine starts at 1, so we're going to start at 1. Then at pi over 2, cosine equals 0. At pi, cosine equals negative 1. At 3 pi over 2, cosine's back up to 0. And then at 2 pi, we're back at 1. So we just went around the unit circle one time. Which means that right at these spots, we can actually, right at the beginning, 0 pi or just 0. So I'll just write 0. Right here, we're at pi over 2. Right here, we are at pi. And right here, we are at 3 pi over 2. And up here, we're back to 0, or because we just made an entire cycle and we're not at 0, we're at 2 pi. We start at 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Now let's try and graph y equals sine of x. So sine of theta, or sine of x, equals the y-axis. So we're going to start at 0, and then we're going to go to 1. Then we're going to go back to 0. Then we're going to go to negative 1. And then we're going to back up to 0. So now we have graphed y equals sine of x. And if I mark each of these spots, the first one will be 0. The second one will be pi over 2. The third one will be pi. The fourth one will be 3 pi over 2. And the fourth one will be 2 pi. Alright, so we've already solved y equals sine of x, or graphed y equals sine of x, and graphed y equals cosine of x. Now let's try and graph y equals 2 sine of x. So we're multiplying sine of x by 2, and sine of theta, or sine of x, equals the y-axis. So 0 times 2 is 0, so we're still going to start at 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And 0 times 2 is 0. Alright, so we graph y equals 2 sine of x. So let's try doing that with cosine now. Right, so we're multiplying cosine of x by 2. Cosine of x, or cosine of theta, equals the x-axis. So 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And 0 times 2 is 0. Finally, 1 times 2 is 2. Alright, so let's try and graph y equals sine of 2x. Now, normally, period is 2 pi. But because we have 2, let's find out the period this way. Period equals 2 pi divided by b. B being the coefficient of 2x. So that means that we have 2 times pi divided by 2. This 2 and this 2, they cancel each other out. So now we just have pi. So we know that our cycle will be twice as fast. Rather than going all the way to 2 pi, it's finished one cycle at pi. Now let's try this with cosine. Actually, you know what? Let's try y equals cosine of 1/2 x. So 1/2 is b. So now we have 2 pi divided by 1/2. Now we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2. So now these two cancel out to 1. And 2 times 2 pi equals 4 pi. So we have 4 pi over 1, which is simply just 4 pi. It's going to go twice as slow. As you can see, y equals cosine of 1/2 x is pretty long. So there are our 3 graphs. Our first one up here. Move our first one up here, second one down here, third And here's our trusty unit circle. Oh, dang, I already wrote it. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. If you disliked this video, please show it to somebody else because they might find it helpful. But for now, goodbye.